What's up, guys? Welcome to the live stream, Fitness Marketing Hub live stream. Sorry, a couple minutes late today. Hope everybody's doing well. Just making sure we're on here. Let me know if you can hear me okay. So looking forward to today's live stream. We are going to get very real in here, talking about a lot of the opportunities that are available right now for fitness creators to make pretty substantial amounts of money by my measurements anyway. But the fact of the matter is most will fail. And I'm not trying to be negative about that, but it is the reality that I just keep seeing over and over again because people are following the wrong people and the way they do things. And I'm not talking about different coaches and stuff. I'm talking about other, pseudo successful YouTube creators. And it's basically just kind of the blind leading the not sure who to follow. And it's just, there's a lot of opportunity right now. And it pains me to see people going for some of those old school methods to try and generate publicity on themselves when it doesn't equate to dollars and cents. And if you're not interested in the dollars and cents, then this is just the wrong podcast for you because this is what I talk about here. I don't consider myself a fitness live stream. I consider this entire channel to be about business and making money. It just happens to have health and fitness and being a personal trainer and utilizing content creation as your platform to grow. And with me today is Kristen Crowley. And you guys may remember her if you've watched this live stream before. She was on last year. Kristen knows everything I don't know, and that's a lot. And she deals with a lot of different platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't know how much she's dabbling in YouTube. She wasn't as much a year ago. She may be doing more so now, but we will ask her because she's waiting in the wings here, and I'll bring her on. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, everybody.
Was that intro okay?
That intro was great. But I'm not really on YouTube still. Like we haven't really dived into a lot of it, but there are some things we guide our clients to do. And, I've referred some things to you in the past. So I'm excited to kind of explore how things are shifting too.
I don't think you can do them all anyway. You know what I mean? Like when you get, when you design a system that works on even 2, I think you're doing extremely well. Mm-hmm. And even that sometimes is pushing it. And I think you're pretty confident with 3 now, because I see you on TikTok and I see you all the time on Instagram and then Facebook and stuff. And I'm looking forward to literally just hearing about the differences between last year and this year. Because I know with YouTube, there's been it's a completely different setup now. It's they make so many changes, and it's like the way to grow and the way to expand is not what it was a year ago. And I reckon that it's probably the same with Instagram and places like that. But
yeah, I think there's a hierarchy. Like everybody has their preference, and to be optimal or to at least not kill yourself and burn yourself out, you kind of have to pick at least some of it that you like. Like you can't, there may be some things that work better for your brand, but if you're not going to go into it wholeheartedly, then it shows up. It's a waste of time. So, we coach, pretty diverse people at this point. We started mainly just in fitness and wellness. And we've grown to help people in a lot of other avenues. Mm-hmm. And what you said at the very beginning, anybody benefits from the same information because it's pretty turnkey once you kind of nail formulas for yourself. Yeah. But the problem that I'm seeing and what you're seeing too, these either I call it, and I'm gonna get so much hate for this, MLM style coaching.
Yeah.
So it's like they've built a pyramid of training other people to do the exact same thing they do in the exact same, worksheets, forms, setup, like CRMs, the whole funnel. Yeah. And because it's not specialized to you and doesn't utilize what you're good at, people are failing. And it's like, well, you can't just get a plug and play system because we're all different and we all show up different. So that to me is probably one of my biggest pet peeves of COVID, like over the time that we had all this time at home where coaching boomed and online boomed, that people just aren't getting creative anymore. And it's like, if you can't create your own content or at least come up with something original, then you are not a differentiator in your space. You're just following exactly what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's frustrating to watch. And it's frustrating too, because I see people that are not directly towards me, but people that will chastise my methods of doing things, that's the hard way and that's the difficult way. And that doesn't work. And it's like, the way I work is not a fad, like the way that I do things. It's not always fun, and it does require some work, and at times it requires a little bit of expense. But I always work hard, and anybody that I coach with now, they know that I try to work within people's parameters, within their location, within, any money that they have or don't have. At least let's put together the best possible scenario for you based on your current conditions. And that's just what it is. And obviously your current conditions are going to be related to potentially the profit you make. And sometimes having a nicer camera to do your workout videos may mean more subscribers faster because it's a more polished looking video. Like these are facts. This is not me trying to sell cameras, because I don't sell cameras. And I've had people come after me for, oh, you're just Amazon affiliate program. I said, trust me, I've made not a lot off Amazon affiliate income. So it's not something that I put a lot of time into. The cameras that I recommend are usually low maintenance cameras that are very user friendly and shoot high quality on low budget. But that's not always going to be $75, $80. Sometimes it's a few hundred. But the biggest thing, like, I don't even know where to start with this, but let's jump into Instagram and the other social media, because I will say that over the last 12 months, I've loosened my stance on Instagram a little bit. Because if you remember, like a year ago, I was
after we last talked. Yeah, you said you were going to give it more of a go, and you've done a little bit of effort. I mean, I see you.
I'm always testing stuff, and it's like there's just like even recently, because it's a push pull thing. Like the biggest thing that's changed, and I'll preface this before we get into it, but that's changed in my side of all this is that anybody getting on YouTube right now for Google income should quit, because it ain't happening. We are in, if not entering, a recession. Advertisers are spending less money putting ads on YouTube, and therefore less advertisements are going on to people's videos, which therefore means less money is coming to us. So if your idea is I'm going to get monetized and I'm going to make Google money, you're not. No. And it's not to say that can change. And I mean, of course, people say, oh, they've just monetized shorts, which I have tested, and the amount of money coming from shorts is also not high. So now we're at a level where this is business. This is about, niche content, attracting a very engaged audience, and then taking that audience and trying to segregate it into products, services, maybe coaching or personal training in this case. And for the part of it that brand sponsorships, things like that, a lot of these guys are still looking at views and subscribers. So in the past, I didn't like to share content to Instagram because it brought down my average view duration. Gotcha. So if that happened, there was a whole kind of a domino effect where it meant less YouTube people were being exposed to my content. Now, if I'm planning to, I usually have seasons where I go after new sponsors, and I'm in one right now. So for me to do anything possible to get that click and that view, whether it's a 3-second view or not, it speaks well to the overall appearance of my channel for sponsors. So that's why you've seen me pop up a little bit more on Instagram and TikTok. And aside from that, I've seen some benefits to it. Like when you see somebody share or save your video, I've never had that happen before until just recently. And I've noticed it a bit. Someone saved my video, and the first thing I'm thinking is why. but it's good though. They want to watch it again, I guess. And I think the last time we spoke, I think you said that was one of the highest metrics for Instagram was when somebody saved your content as opposed to liking it. So I'm seeing that firsthand a little bit, and it does excite me a bit. So there's my take. Over to you. I'll be quiet now.
Well, no, there's so much we can talk about. So, if anybody does have questions throughout this, please, put them in the comments, because we're happy to answer them and give feedback on things. But there is definitely a shift of what's going on in the space, in the Instagram world specifically. So, as Meta grows, and like you said, advertising is down for them, you know, they have to find new ways to get people back onto the platforms. So, you know, people are spending, and we, you know, we always advise everyone, you know, don't jump into ads, same way you probably do on YouTube, until you know exactly who you're targeting. You have a way to get them in, and you're very familiar with your keywords and everything that's online. Same thing with Instagram, but because of, you know, the iOS changes and the privacy changes, I mean, we've seen ad spend go up a tremendous amount of money for fewer views and clicks and likes. And Instagram is pivoting back to their roots, I guess we could say. So as it moved, they were like, no, video, 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 and pushed reels as far as algorithm engagement. And of course, saves was the highest token you could achieve, because again, that means somebody really liked it enough to watch it again or use it as inspiration for something else. They have now stated that they're going to go back to a more level algorithm playing field, which means it's all centered around community. It's all about building your community, and it's trying to teach it to learn what your community likes. Because we always teach our clients to kind of train their audience for what to expect from them. So whether it be a certain sound you use all the time on your video, or it's a certain color on brand, or it's a time of week you show up, or whatever the case may be, you can train them to be used to your content. And that allows you to really post whatever the hell you want. Doesn't have to be a reel, doesn't have to be video, but they are now going to say whatever your community really loves. If it's photos and you're a photographer and you're posting nothing but photos, you know, you're not going to be making reels every day. You're not going to do videos. So that's unfair. So they're leveling it back out, which is great for anybody who hates certain types of content, because we all have a favorite. Some of us love to create a video. Some of us hate editing. There's so many different ways. So that I'm excited about for this year, because it's going to allow us to kind of get back to what makes, you know, us tick online, and building a community in the way that feels good to us, versus trying to follow, you know, the lemmings off the cliff and all die together, you know, horrible death, because we're doing the same shit. So they're really, I like that shift on IG. Facebook has kind of remained the same. There's not many changes there at all. And, you know, we dabble in all the platforms, obviously, but we have seen some people, like you said, YouTube Shorts. I'm curious to hear a little bit more about them, because technically, compared to reels, there is a little bit more audience engagement, because they're you know, the new thing. So what do you think about the YouTube Shorts? Have you been using them a lot?
I just started, really. I dabbled just a little tiny bit last year, and then now recently I've used it. One thing that you said to me a year ago that actually stuck with me was, whatever the platform is focusing on is something that I should be focusing on. Because if they're putting their time and energy and marketing behind it, then there's a reason. And that's kind of what I noticed with shorts. Now, I started posting some shorts. I'm kind of getting a hang as to what works. I guess as far as income goes, there's none. It's like
Gotcha.
5 cents on 1,000 views. But I did see, obviously there's a surge in views when you post a short. It is showing it to people outside of your current community. So it is exposing it to new people, because it's all basically on this short shelf, what they call it. And if you post a short, you're going to suddenly see a peak, and then it's just a matter of how long that peak is. So if people are watching it for a longer duration, it stays on the short shelf, because you're keeping people on the platform. If people are watching it for 10 or 15 seconds and then zoning out, then you'll see it kind of go down. But even 10 minutes on the short shelf could be an extra 1,000 views in one day on your channel. And 2 or 3 subscribers. And so you are exposing new people to your content. And again, with how I'm looking at things now and how I'm trying to build the channel, not in a world where the Google money really matters anymore, exposing my channel to as many people as possible is kind of it's my new kind of goal. Yeah. And you're going to get a lot of people that aren't interested. And of course, like when you're posting videos with females in it, you'll get catcalls and stuff from guys. And but that's what happens when you're outside of that realm. So
100%.
I do like it. The other thing that kind of won me over is when they first started doing shorts, it was basically populating my main channel page. And I'm very picky over the aesthetic of my pages.
Yeah.
So having all these nice thumbnails and then that vertical video with no thumbnail on it, I just felt didn't look professional.
Yeah.
But now shorts have their own tab in the different tabs at the top of your homepage. So that actually kind of won me over, because now I can kind of segregate it off to the side. So shorts to me is like a side thing, and it's not really affecting my main channel. So I'm still trying to provide content for my community. And then I try and post, I'm going to try and post a short a day if I can, just because it does give you a surge in views. I did notice that even when that surge comes down, there's a residual. Your views are a little higher than they were. And that'll take a while to go back down. So if you're feeding the short shelf with good quality stuff, like I don't think people should be just firing off, really bad content. I think you should put the same amount of time you would put into an actual video. But so far I'm okay with it in terms of discovery. As far as monetization or building a channel around it, I don't think that's just my opinion on it. But
yeah.
um,
I can share. I did just get a 1099 from Meta for my Reels payments for the year. If you want me to share that number.
Yes.
So just so people, like you put it in perspective of how much time you're putting into Reels and then how much you're going to get paid. And this is only if they allow you the Reels bonus play. So that's if you don't get invited to that, then you don't get paid for anything. So for the whole year, and I mean, I don't have viral, Reels by any means. So mine are basic average views overall, and they don't pay the same. So they can pay you whatever they want to pay you based on performance. They don't have any kind of scale. It's like the wild, wild west. Like, here, we like it, we'll give you some money. So for the whole year of 2022, and that was with doing, I mean, didn't do them often, but at least, one a week, a couple a week, whatever. My whopping payment from Meta was just over $1,000
for the year,
for the whole year of being monetized on Reels. Now, mind you, I don't put effort into it like people who are creators, because again, I'm too busy doing other people's crap to focus on my own. But I did have to take time to make all of those, edit them, post them, which is, I don't know, you figure even one a week, that's at least an hour. So I mean, 50, 60 hours of Reels, I made about $1,000. So if you do the math, that's, basically you could work in a store and make the same amount of money as trying to force getting payments. So I don't agree with that, the monetization of that either, unless you are someone who is solely on there for brand partnerships and content for that, which I do have friends who do that. They do very well, but not for everybody.
But I mean, and this is one of the areas that I think maybe people don't look into as much. Like they jump into Reels because it is a trend right now, and they post Reels. And then maybe not they get views, but it's like we already have established between the two of us that there's not really money in it. Someone else may come on here and say opposite, something different. But for you guys, I'm going to assume that, the potential for somebody to see your reel, save it, watch another couple of reels, suddenly follow your Instagram, and then suddenly they're a client of yours. That's where the money is. Like you're talking about, like you're too busy doing other people's crap. What are the odds that some of that crap came from a reel? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I 100% agree on that. So
and that's what makes that stuff worthwhile for me. And I see it. I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but I see people that are focused on reels and they're pumping out reels, but there's no, what are you leading these people to? Like there's the money's not coming from Savage Creative. 100%.
Hey, Savage, what's up?
As long as you agree with me, I'll keep posting your comments.
100%.
Jump in anytime, Patrick.
Yeah, jump on us.
And if any of you guys have questions about this stuff, fire away, because between Kirsten and I, we can forget you're even here and just start.
We talk.
Me especially. I'll motor mouth for 2 hours. But so that's what I mean. It's like you kind of have to build that goal, like, you know what I mean? Like you've got a business.
Yeah.
I'm going to do reels because it's going to expose my business to new people. And as I pull them into my community with this like evergreen content, I'm going to try and over time, kind of get them into potentially as a coaching client or as a, a product or service, a retreat, which I know you have like 3 or 4 of them a year. So that is, I'm assuming, where the value and your focus is on that. So this is the thing with any of you guys out there that are focusing on reels, really sit back and think for a second, like what is kind of this, and you could sketch this out on a piece of paper. So, okay, I'm going to do a reel on Instagram. I'm going to put a bunch of hashtags in it. Somebody's going to like it. They're going to subscribe to me. Okay, great. And then they're going to see that I also post videos on YouTube. So they're going to jump over, maybe watch one. Maybe they subscribe to me on YouTube. Great. But now what? Because now, okay, you're going to get 300 views from that person a year if they watch your channel every single day. And that's going to make you about $1.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like, that's why this is where the expansion comes in. And this is where being a content creator in 2023 is, in my opinion. We're past the influencer stuff is dead, in my opinion, unless you are a big time celebrity. Yeah.
That's your specific job. Like, that's what you want to do, is branding, partnerships that pay you, which is, like I said, I still have a couple friends in that space. One that's like a mom influencer and does partnerships with brands and larger companies like Pampers and Amazon, Walmart, those type of things. Yes. And she doesn't have a huge account, but she gets paid very well. The whole thing with any of this, and we wanted to say, like, now is the best time, because we know when we're in recessions, it's great to start a business. People are looking for new opportunities. They're looking to feel better. Fitness trainers in general, you're undervalued. You give them life. You give them all the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin hits they could ever get. So it's a great time to start, which was kind of the premise of our whole conversation. But the reason you will fail is that you're going to not plan it out. You're going to run to the end. And like, see this when people just go and put the video on YouTube, there's no strategy, there's no back end, there's no planning, there's no actual business. You're just screwing around online. And business is a business. And to really, the old school steps, they suck. It's a lot of work for a reason, because they work. And building a business in any way, whether it's, construction or fitness, you have to start and build the same way and have plans. So I like because I think a big question we always get, and you may get, is, again, how many platforms should I be on? How often should I be posting? What is going to make me the most money? The thing that's going to save your ass and make you the most money is having everything back, like having a customer journey. So we have to look at the end result. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to end up in that timeline? And then, whatever that year plan is, year, 5 year, 10 year, we reverse engineer step by step backwards to go to, okay, our base, because our foundation with Reframe, we teach it differently. We don't do brand coaching in a sense of like, here's your pretty colors and here's your logo and let's just start posting. And there's so much of that kills me too. Another rant for another time. But we want people to sit there and say, our analogy is, you can't build a penthouse without building the foundation of the building. If you jump to the top, everything will crumble below you, because you literally built it on popsicle sticks and Scotch tape. So you have to build a foundation. And for us, that's your MVP, your most valuable payers. And then knowing that client, knowing what the offers are going to be, making sure that they are cognitively tangible, not just sound good, like they actually will make a difference in someone's life. And then we roll forward that way. And then we say, okay, how many hours you got this week? This is how many days are you going to allocate to content? Can you even do that at this point? If not, you're all text driven and no visual. We can work with that too, but you have to know all of those steps. And then when you have that formula in place, then you can start growing. Like, you master the little things. Then, and Jill and I have talked about this. We need to revive the YouTube channel, because we do share a lot. It'd be nice to have it there. But definitely, you need to have that whole plan in place to get to the spots. And that is what ends the frustration and overwhelm when it comes to content creation, what platforms are going to perform for you. And you said it the best earlier too, testing. Like, you have to test every single thing, and they are not going to be winners. Like, I can guarantee you're going to fail.
No, you have to try some of the new stuff. And again, that's something I've been very close-minded to in the past, but I am doing a little bit more. But because the biggest thing with me is that I've got multiple businesses, but essentially I've got my physical agency that I do work with clients with. And then I've got the stuff that I do with YouTube, which also is, in addition to creating content, it's also coaching clients, videos. I'm talking about doing live seminars this year, a lot of different stuff. So I need to keep myself engaged in the online part of it, because it is peaks and valleys, and things are constantly changing. And if you don't, you'll see money go down. I do have a residual that comes in through, Google. I've gone over it, and at its best, it was, I did a video on it a little while ago, but I think the best month I ever had was $15,000 or $16,000 in income through YouTube and whatever other things I have that are connected to YouTube. So, but it's not always like that. And as it goes down, I get frustrated. And it's no different, I think, for somebody out there who's making nothing and they keep trying and trying and trying, and you don't get any sort of something just to keep you in the game. And then of course somebody comes along and says, here, I'll give you this $2 crappy band. Can you do a video on it? And I'll give you the band, and they run off and do it because they just need some sort of feedback on something. And like just this week, I was getting a little bit frustrated. Not really. I mean, my channel's doing good, but I was like, I got to find something to wrap my head around this, because I lose focus really quickly. Have a conversation with me and you'll see that. But so I made one phone call. Didn't know the company, didn't know the person, made one phone call based on who could benefit from my channel right now. I got a new sponsorship out of it. It took 48 hours.
Wow.
And this is, I don't know the company. I don't know what they want to hear because I don't know the people. Like, there was no particular thing that I ran in and said that sold them on stuff. It's just basically, here's what I do. Here's my channel. Here's the primary focus. Here's my clientele. Here's their age. 80% of them are in the United States. They need products like the ones you sell. I have nowhere to send them. I'm in Canada. And I just left it alone. And basically 48 hours later, I have a new sponsor. And so that's the kind of things that I feel that everybody needs to be doing now, regardless of how many subscribers you have. Because I have talked about it before that, and I think you could probably attest to this too, that if your content is good quality content, companies can use that content. Even if they have no people, if you have no people following you or very few, that's not necessarily a big thing to some companies because they see value in your content. I've been with companies in the past where just to do a random monthly product shoot to get some new product videos out, you're talking $7,000, $8,000. So if somebody can throw, well, instead of that, let's throw $1,000 to 3 different content creators who make good content, repurpose that, and with the 5,000 we save, we'll put that towards promotions or something. So companies are doing this now, especially right now. They're looking for ways to save money on their budgets. So if you make good quality content, and if you're not, you should be focused on that as opposed to more videos or things like that. Focus on good ones. There is an ample amount of opportunity for that. Would you kind of agree with that too?
100,000%. UGC content creators are huge right now on the other platforms. So that's what companies want. They want someone to create authentic looking user generated content for them so they don't have to do the work. We actually got ahead of that game with these retreats, a couple of years ago, because we said, we've got the house, we've got the women, we've got everybody in hair and makeup, we've got the photographers, we've got the videographer, we've got creative directors. So you can just pay us to take your product on vacation and we'll shoot it in one of our vacation spots. And it's worked great. We've worked with some great brands, and it does, because again, when they put together a marketing shoot like that for a new product or a seasonal product, they're spending anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 just on the talent, the space, the photographer, video, all of the things. So UGC creators are huge now, because you don't even, to be that on Instagram, you don't even have to post it on your own feed or stories anymore. They strictly want you to just literally follow their, brand kit. They'll say, here's our launch for whatever, here's the product. We will pay you for X amount of content, whether that's, 25 photos or 10 photos and reels, like done for us. So we can post them organically from ours instead of inviting us as a collaborator. So they're getting the credit on their pages. Right. So that's going to be a huge shift too this year, because they're not just paying people anymore to post on their page. They want them to create the stuff they'll share. So it looks like customers are sending in organic reviews of their product in a less formal manner. So it helps the brand establish that like no trust factor. It shows the audience that it's getting, a good review. And yeah, they're not paying any of the overhead to do any of the space or talent. They're just giving you $1,000, which is great if that helps you out for the month, and they're not having to spend 10. I mean, it's a win-win on a lot of ways. So I love that you brought it up, because anyone who is more in that space or just wants partnerships really needs to explore UGC creator content. And that is going to be a big shift in organic marketing for that platform. Yeah, businesses, we don't want to pay the cost of ads. Businesses don't either, even if they have a big budget. They don't want to spend 20 to 40% more. I mean, why? So they're a lot smarter than we are, because obviously they have bigger plans. So why are we not following what those businesses are doing with their models as a solopreneur? Because you should be.
One of the very biggest trends in corporate marketing right now, whether it's health and fitness products or anything, is authenticity. It's actually moved its way to like number one this year.
Wow.
And I've had clients who have actually asked me to dummy down my videos because they were too polished.
Nice.
Because they're looking for that kind of raw organic. So this is what we mean, guys, when we're talking about there's so much opportunity out there. They're looking for people like you to present videos like you present them. And, some of them will pay you. In some cases, it's product. In some cases, it's exposure. And don't write that off either. If you're just getting started and somebody wants you to do a review if you like their product and stuff, don't review a product you don't like. Don't sell your soul. But if it's something that is good, do a review on it. Tell them you'll put it up for X amount of time. Make sure that they're putting it on their social channels, and there's a residual value, because again, more people are exposed to you, and they may really like what you have to say, and then like your other stuff, who may become a future online client or things like that. So a couple of questions are coming in here. Let me see.
Pop them up.
Annaline, it's good to see you. We haven't talked in a while. Glad you were able to join us today. And Patrick's got the emojis going, and this was one that came in here. So what if you understand and know your big picture, but how should you formalize your structure? I mean, I'll say something first, and then you can jump in, Kristen. And by the way, anybody who's on Facebook, I've got Facebook open here too, but you don't come up with your name in that. So if you're Facebook asking a question, throw your name in there too, just so we know. I can see it here. Kristen can't. So this is Kasolu Ananti. I hope I said your name right. I mean, your big picture is your big picture. So there, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. There is no cookie cutter structure for this, but if you understand, know your big picture, to me, that means you understand who your audience is, and you understand what you're delivering to them and what your niche content is. So if that's the case, then you're off to a great start. Now it comes down to what you have for subscribers. Now, like my Fitness and Marketing Hub channel I started selling products and services at 126 subscribers. So long before I was ever monetized on Google. So I think first and foremost, you have to make sure that, if you understand your content, you kind of have a niche. I'm a very big believer in niche. Kristen, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I do think the more scaled down you are, you're going to be more interesting to less people, which actually is a good thing. Because those are people who are going to be engaged in your content, who can potentially be upsold into products and services. And then it comes down again, depending on what you're offering on your channel. There's lots of things. There's Amazon affiliate programs can bring in money. Working directly with a retailer or a business who sells products or services that you use in your channel. And then you get like a commission on those products. Those are everywhere, and very few people are going to turn you down. If you have more subscribers and your channel's really blowing up, maybe there is potential just for a flat rate sponsorship. There's things now like YouTube is coming out this year with online courses. So rather than having like an online course on one of the other, like Kajabi or one of those places, you can actually structure and build an online course on YouTube and have it there under a paywall.
Wow.
Which for convenience purposes is great. Now, of course, you're probably losing 40% of that to them, but
Yeah.
again, what's it worth as far as convenience goes? There's companies like BookBolt. BookBolt is fantastic because you can create something as simple as a training journal based on your YouTube channel. You can make this in an hour on BookBolt. It's very just cookie cutter structured together. Put your logo on it, sell it for $5 or $6 on Amazon, and promote it on your page. You just made a product that's for you. You can do this with, lots of different things. And there's also Teespring and places like that. Those are harder sells when you're trying to sell your brand to somebody, because when you're small, it's not really something they jump onto. But so that's really it. And to me, it's a matter of, as far as formal structure goes, to me, it's go to the end first. And what's your ideal? Like, I hate using the word journey, but what's the journey of somebody who subscribes to your YouTube channel or your social media? I mean, if this is a business to you, where do they end up? What's the best case scenario? For me, a best case scenario would be somebody who, they join my channel, they become a member of my YouTube channel, they request a one-on-one chat with me. That may turn into helping them kind of rebuild their channel, and then maybe doing some coaching for several months. That would be the journey of somebody joining my channel. As far as that, for my Trainer Hub Fitness channel, the journey is they join that channel, they join our members section where they get more exclusive content and live streams, and then they become a one-on-one coaching client. Which I know I don't do one-on-one coaching on that channel because I don't have interest or time. But the girl that does do the one-on-one coaching through the members say, I know she's got probably 40, 50 different clients right now.
Wow.
And she said that a considerable amount of them have come through YouTube. So, and like all the dollars together, and she's told me what she's making good money, which is why like it's well worth her while to be on that channel, because I don't pay her to do the videos. So that's the journeys on both of my channels. I can say that flat out. Like, Kirsten, what's the pathway of perfection for somebody finding you online?
Well, I mean, and like I said, every business owner is 100% different of what you're capable of using and what you want to do, again, to have the customer journey. So how are they coming to you? Which platform first? So structure to me is systems. So if we say, what systems do you need in place to get person from point A to point B? Your car, you have to have a transmission, you have to have an engine, you have to have gas, you have to have oil. So same thing happens in any kind of customer journey, from acquisition to, sale. You want them to come in where? So for us, mostly Instagram. So we're a different pathway. So ours is mostly Instagram. That has a links that go into our website, which has forms which capture emails. So you will need something to store your emails in. Especially offline marketing, if you're not gathering information on the people coming to you, you're losing out on a ton of future business, because obviously, what if the platforms crash all the time? You can't reach anybody. Mm-hmm. So we have, basics for most of our people who start with us for any kind of brand business development. You have to have some type of CRM. So customer response management. What type of CRM? It could be a free MailChimp account. That is the basics for you to at least be able to create a form, a landing page, and store information on people. That is for us. Like, you have to kind of get that in place. There's a ton we work with and recommend, again, totally based on the person. And from there, are you going to respond manually? Are you old school? Do you like using Google to communicate? Just email, phone calls? If that, you need a planner, something for your calendar to plan people. Then we go into, then you may need the full website. And then they go through the process of either getting an information packet or something. So you have to have that designed. So, basic requisites for us to create a system or a structure is to know where they're coming from, what tools you need to use to automate as much as possible to make your life easier eventually. Doesn't have to be right away. And then where they're going to end up, what you want that end result to be. And, we build it out. Honestly, I'm a Post-it person. So I am obsessed with Post-it note planning. And I like to just create a whiteboard and literally lay out every step of it on Post-it notes and visualize. Like, I'm visual when I see these things. And I think a lot of people online listen to these business podcasts or these business building podcasts, and they're like, you need Entreport and you need this and this, and these are, thousands and thousands of dollars a month, and you don't need them yet. So they're just basically pricing you out of really making any income because you're spending so much on systems that you don't even know you need yet. So it's a building process to find your own, but structure is, necessary. I mean, you have to know how they're coming in, and stop, for the love of God, please stop creating a new offer every month because you're like, ooh, I just got inspired, so I want you to now do these 10 steps to $10,000 in 30 days. Please, just for the love of God, stop creating shit like that. People are over it. It's fake. It doesn't do anything. There are no results from it. And we're getting a lot of that now too. I don't know if you're seeing it in your world where people go to these, like I said, MLM style coaches, and they come to us. And I equivalent it to a woman who's had like a really bad breast augmentation and has been through 3 plastic surgeons to fix it, and they've only made it worse. And then they finally find the good doctor that can fix their problem. We say that all the time, but it's 100% true, because people are just like, oh, this is easy, and they can make it fast for you. It's not for you, dude. It's for whoever they created it mainly themselves. So a lot of things on structure, and it's individual, like snowflake individual for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try so hard not to talk about those those different people that are out there, because I always use the term staying in my lane. I don't want, and I'm sure people could poke holes in my ideas. The difference is that anybody that wants to poke holes in what I talk about, I will invite onto this live stream, and you can watch me poke a hole in them, because I very much am confident what I do, and and I've had success from it. Doesn't mean everyone's going to, but these are the steps that work for me, and that's what I talk about. And then for other platforms, I have people like you on to talk about it. And some of these people that go out and they've got the system that works, and the system made them X amount last month alone. And this person who doesn't have a last name, they also made X amount last month. And you can, if you really kind of clear the cobwebs from your head and look at some of these things that people are saying, you'll realize very quickly that a solid 90% of the people out there claiming to be business coaches, fitness coaches, are full of shit. And they don't know. It's no different. I used to get frustrated when I would see people doing these coach. I'm going to show you how to make your gym $1 million a year. And I had a business partner once who wanted to buy into one of those, and I wouldn't let him, because number one, every geographical location is different. And if your system is aggressive sales tactics in a small town of 15,000 people that has 4 or 5 different gyms, that doesn't work there. And the same thing is, if you've never owned a gym in your life, I don't want your advice, because you do not know what it's like to try and manage a gym, things like that. And it's no different than YouTube channels. Like if somebody's got 300,000 followers on YouTube and 18 views in their video, they probably bought those followers, and so it's very visible to see, but sometimes we just don't want to see it. We just want to think that there's a way out that's easy.
We all do. I mean, I'd love to, have muscles and not have to work out to get them, I mean, we all want the easy way. That just doesn't, but it's not going to work. So you're just basically putting a Band-Aid on it. That part, we can rant a lot on what is seen online, and I see it every day, and it's really frustrating, because we both agree we come from a place of service. Like, we actually want people to succeed. We don't want to teach them to be dependent on us for the rest of their existence. We want them to learn and grow and actually be successful. And a lot of people out there, it's just a turn and burn. Like, they're like,
what's really frustrating is that it's working for them. That's what frustrates me. I see it working.
Most people are dumb. I mean, we're just going to put that out there. Online, most people are like, they're really stupid about it because they just don't take the time. I mean, I ran into that with posts, because, I used to be in the TV business. So I was a news anchor, and I was in journalism for 12 years. And so I am like a fact checking fool. Like, I never take a clickbait headline and say, and just repeat it to someone. I go and I start digging, and I find on Snopes, and I look on here, and I start going to websites, and I find whatever the truth actually is. Because there was a very big person in the podcasting industry who shared a graphic of, the new American diet, of saying that, like, what was it? Lucky Charms is healthier than red meat.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, shared this everywhere with no context, and people were all like, "Oh my gosh, the U.S. is going downhill. Look at this new the new standard for food and da da da." No, it was a study to prove the disparities in how foods are regulated and how they're when they put them into these testing categories. And so this graphic was made and taken from someone who was actually using it as a point of don't do this.
Yeah.
All they had to do was just share it, and then this misinformation. So overall in my brain, most people online are so quick to move on that they, we're gnats. We have no attention span, and they act like children or like grandparents. So they're just very short. They take whatever it is verbatim. They don't do their own research. So there is a very small community of people who are actually out there really trying to be professional and do it as a business, which is good for you, because once you find that magic sequence and solution, then it's just like plug and play, and the people will come to you. You said niching down. We do. I saw someone that I actually respect very highly saying that they think putting someone in a niche is the stupidest thing you could ever do. And because it means that they're basically belittling themselves by saying, I can't do more. No, we don't want you to do more, because then you're so spread thin, no one knows why they're coming to you. And that creates confusion, and confusion loses clients. Mm-hmm. So, I had to disagree with her on that. I do like most of the things she does, but that was really disheartening for me to say. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to say, I'm only going to serve people that are named Linda who are 38 years old, but you got to know who you're talking to.
Right. I saw a video about that recently too. So whoever that was probably just repeated the video that they saw.
Probably.
People are trying to say niching down is limiting. Yeah. But there's a big difference between having 100,000 subscribers and not being too niche, and having 100 subscribers and not growing. That's when you really need to be niche. And these are the people that I'm talking to. It's a different set of rules. Mm-hmm. Yes, when you have just a booming channel with 100,000 plus subscribers, and they're all very active, you can ask them, do you want me to expand and start doing this or that? You can kind of branch out into other things. You can experiment a little bit more, as long as you don't distance yourself from what, the structure that brought you these people.
Yeah.
But when you have very few subscribers and you're bouncing all over the spectrum of the fitness world and throwing so many different things, you are just a which, what, who channel of nothingness. And there's nothing for a person to connect with. And it's no different. Like, it's hard to be a TV show that's both a comedy and a drama and a sci-fi show. Like, you kind of have to pick your lane and you go in that direction. So it's a very, and I think that's kind of part of the problem, is that people that I work with, a lot of them, their goals and their kind of mentors are YouTubers that have 1 million subscribers. And it's like, well, that's a different set of rules. Those people are the search term. Like, I know on my channel that nobody's searching me by name, but they'll search for workouts that I happen to have. And the more niche that I am, if I put up a dumbbell workout today, I'm going to debut on page 50 of YouTube. If I debut a sandbag workout, I'm going to debut on page 1. The sandbag workout is going to is much less popular than dumbbells, but which workout do you think is going to get more views? The one on page 1 or the one that's on page 50? Yeah. And that's kind of what it comes down to when you're small. And I still consider myself small. I'm approaching 25,000 subscribers, but I still consider my channel small in the big picture.
Yeah.
But you work within. I watch other channels that have 25,000 subscribers and 50,000 subscribers. And I see what they're doing. And those are the kind of things that's like, what are they doing right now? That's they're growing more by the day than I am, or
like just above where you're at. And that's Savage. I mean, you had a great question on there too about it. That parlays into this of, recycling and influence online, because this is that we and Jill and I, Jill's my business partner, for those of you that don't know, but we had a discussion yesterday actually about this, because it was that whole adage of, is it good or bad? Because we're redoing, trending audio, reels, videos, like, we're not necessarily copying, but we're repurposing or recycling, things on there. It is a very interesting thing to me because art always imitates life. And we know that we get inspired by what's around us and what we see. And it's really difficult sometimes to say, I'm going to put myself in a dark closet with no sound, no voice, and see what ideas come to my mind creatively, because not all of us are creative people. Mm-hmm. So you have to be inspired. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with seeing something and repurposing it for a way that works for your audience and you, not just to redo it because you laughed at a reel that had something inappropriate in it. May not resonate with your people. But I think that we all inspire each other, which is the best thing about growth, is that we find people who inspire us that are a little further ahead, and we try and imitate what they're doing, but we have to take a step back. And I think stopping that, we're all going to consume content. There's never going to stop. It is addicting, and it's, there's research on it. We know why it's addicting, mm-hmm. but how can you make it work for you? And really, we like to so let's blow it down. Plagiarizing and copywriting is wrong. You cannot go, and we just had a cease and desist we had to send out because someone copied our entire website and copied the whole retreat and is trying to sell it online.
Wow.
And literally didn't even change the words, like same bullet points, same everything, and just copied it and made a whole.
Are they selling their own, or is it a scam just to get money?
No,
like
their own. They changed
their own, just different pictures, same.
They changed they took all of our verbiage. Now, if you don't know out there, you're running a business. Your mm-hmm. business is tied to legal aspects. And I don't know how this works in the YouTube world with copy, but you can't copy verbatim someone's, written content once it's on a website or is online and is copyrighted. Same thing goes for sharing. You cannot share someone's content unless you have consent to do so. And that is a big thing that they've talked about a lot in all platforms. Like, you can't just take someone's shit, put your logo over it, use their words. You have to say either referring to them, giving credit, or you have to come up with different words. You can't use people's taglines and things that they're known for. That is copyright. But when it comes to reels and copying like sounds and things and what people are doing, it's fun. I encourage people to do it because it's easier and it's less stress on you to create that way. But we always try and find a different way to do it. So whatever your style is, you have to say, I'm going to, use this, but I'm going to use my specific spin on it for whatever clients. There's a lot of things on there with the whole rinse, repeat online. Cause we're not recreating the wheel here. We're all doing pretty much the same shit online.
Oh yeah.
It's just, some of us are better at it than others. Some of us make it look prettier. Some of us are better at reaching people. So, there's a lot of things that we can definitely go down the rabbit hole on when it comes to inspiration for content and what to post. But honestly, if you do stick to what stick to your keywords and what you're showing up for and who, just find inspiration everywhere, but don't verbatim ever copy someone exactly. Yeah. I hate seeing that. When it's, the words, especially like the reels and the music, I don't mind, but words, please just do some work, do some actual free work.
By the way, guys, I'm going to go through all these questions and stuff here in a second. We're just we're chatting away. Everybody has a very unique skill set. Everybody, and some people can produce better quality content. Other people are better educated trainers. Other people are just really charismatic showmen on camera. You need to, remove the blinders and really just look at yourself and what your strengths and weaknesses are. And to just completely try and copycat a successful YouTube page or a successful retreat system. People can cut and paste what you guys put in your website, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a retreat like you guys do, because you're very unique people. You have a different photographer, you have a different video person. You just can't flip something and make it your own like that. You've got to look at what you've got at your disposal. Just like I just said, I have clients that produce really quality videos. and they don't connect with the audience as well. So we have to work with that. Okay, here's the good, here's the bad, here's how we present this. I have other clients who are so connected to people and so like just lovable, and their video quality is fine. It's not over the top. So it's like, let's focus on membership. Let's focus on the community and less on evergreen content. And so it's like, it changes, but it's a matter of you, as we kind of been saying off and on here, really structuring things out and looking at that customer journey, just like any business, and where it starts and where it ends. And most importantly, where it ends. Don't just start. Like, you can have a great sports car and drive as fast as you can, but if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get anywhere with it. You're just going to drive fast.
Yeah.
And so really understanding that side of it and doing the work on the tail end. And it may take a while for your first person to make it through that entire customer journey. And again, I hate every time I say the word journey, but
I know I use it. It makes people, and it's easy to say online. So I mean, I say it too, only because it does set you up for.
Yeah, it is what
they're going, folks. Like,
it is what it is.
Just use it. It's fine.
So I'm going to jump back up here. Patrick had a comment earlier.
Yeah.
Big struggle for me, recycling or plagiarizing content from other social accounts. I'm old school, mass comm. It's hard for me to not be influenced by content I consume and want to use. Yeah, we like Kristen just said, we all are. Mm-hmm. But it's a matter of putting, your very particular spin on it, which I have no doubt that Savage Creative knows how to do.
Oh, no, he does. I mean, insane content. If you guys are on here, great photos, and has found ways to do great reels with photos and make it, his own. And I know he made another comment further down too, kind of piggybacking on that, of how,
I did a podcast with him just recently too. Patrick, post a link to the podcast in this if you are online still. We had a great chat. All kind of similar stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm talking to him at some point. So
we had a great chat. Okay. So this was the same lady we were speaking with earlier. Bring the name up again. I don't know why Facebook names don't show up.
Yeah, it's strange, but one did. There's one that did, and the rest they don't.
So there's something on Facebook where you have to give permission for your name to appear on this, I think.
Okay. You do have to. You have to give StreamYard permission to your Facebook account.
Right. I have a new YouTube channel, Africa Pop Mommy Health and Fitness, that focus on current pregnancy journey at 39, giving birth after 40, and going through IVF. The channel focus is preconception, pregnancy, and motherhood health and fitness for women in their 30s and beyond. It's a good niche.
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, you're definitely in the right track. IVF is a very personal and emotional story. I've been through it as well. There's a lot of women talking about it now more than ever before because it's not as taboo as it used to be. So you have a lot of great things you can do with that. So that's niche down great. And I would say using like the, over 40 and infertility and struggle is a great way to really just hone in on those keywords too.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what I love about niches like that. Like, there's probably people watching this right now that think that's pretty niche. But right there, I don't know anything about it. I've never gone through that personally, nor has my wife. You have. So at like 50% of your audience right now can actually directly deal with it. And
over
so
40.
Right. 40, so there are audiences for everything. And that's the thing, is people look for very specific things sometimes. And it's nice that when there's stuff like that out there, I mean, there's nothing you can't find on YouTube. Like I see the most random things like, how to unlock a safe with a bobby pin or something, like something stupid. And there's a video on it with 1 million views. And it's like 1 million people have apparently locked themselves out of their safe. Like, you'd be shocked at the stuff that people are looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. I go to YouTube for everything. So, I mean,
same here.
Should be on there, but we need to work on that. We'll work on that this year with you. Maybe.
For sure. Mick One Pod, really interesting. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Kasolu Casa. We can see her now. Same lady. My company's 28 Media Inc. And Kristen, she's probably looking for your company.
Reframe Your Brand. Pretty easy.
I'll add it in the description of the video after too. So all Kristen's content, because she posts stuff on Instagram all the time. Really good stuff. You've retreat coming up.
Yeah, we actually do. We're running. We have 5 this year so far. And again, people on here looking. Yes, we are shifting. Like some things are going to shift online and in person, and we're still going through getting back to normal on a lot of schedules. So we added in 1-day pop-ups in several cities. So, but we're going to be in Dominican Republic this year for the first time in
Nice.
March, which is phenomenal because it's a great house. We work with a couple doctors there already, and it's going to be a really cool space. So that's going to be up first. And then, I'll be back up your way into Canada. I'll be in Toronto. We're doing our pop-up I think this year we're doing Virginia Beach, which already sold out twice, Denver, and we have Toronto, and then Arizona. But
I guess I went to PEI when you were here last time. I think we just barely missed each other.
Yeah, we were like one day off. So hopefully we can actually connect in person.
Definitely. Dante the Body Fit. You're all literally helping through a lot this one combo. That's awesome, man. Glad you found us too.
Thank you, Dante.
Any of you guys that are enjoying this, if you do get an opportunity to click the like button, if you're watching on YouTube, that does help substantially. And it does help the video surface to more people. So if you want to pay us for it, all you need to do is just click the like button. If you haven't, leave a comment. That all helps. So I appreciate you guys being here.
Nanosecond of support.
Exactly. Glad to hear both of you put out so much topical content for my brand. I say them as ideas, but I stress it about how to make it mine. What I'll have to do, Patrick, is get you on one of these live streams now that I've been on yours too.
Yeah.
Patrick and I can shoot the breeze pretty good too for long periods of time. So
well, you do a good job of making it yours because you're using your images and your content. So finding the other, there's like photo inspo everywhere. So you're providing that for other people now. So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to tweak something to you. What I like to keep in mind is how will the person seeing this be able to use it to help themselves in some way? Will it either make them laugh, give them something to do, or teach them something? And since you're more of an educational, content overall versus entertainment, like how can it help someone? Maybe it's just photo inspo dump for the week. Like use these poses, use these photos. Like those are great ways to make it yours really quickly without having to do a lot of work.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And
yeah.
Dante, good question, actually. Do you think home workouts will have a surge since we're leaning into recession? Yes, very much so. We're in a surge right now because it's January. But yeah, I don't, you hear lots of things about recessions, but then I hear things are improving. I don't really know what to expect from it. But I do believe, yes, that as these things creep in, as the price of eggs goes through the roof and stuff like that, people are going to be looking for ways to conserve money a little bit. And certainly a gym membership will be a way to do that. With that being said, I also think gyms are going to be very aggressively trying to combat this because they just went through 3 years of hell and they don't want people to go home again. So, but yeah, I do think, and I mean, there's no shortage even without a recession on home fitness. So, I mean, don't even worry about that, man. It's very, very busy. There's such a enormous audience of people who they even want to go to a gym, but they're uncomfortable going to a gym. They don't have the confidence to go to a gym. So they're trying to do stuff from home and they need people to help them. And that's why you see so often some of the most popular workout searches are beginner workouts. People that are trying to figure out how to use a kettlebell, how to use dumbbells, how to, like, as fitness people, we take for granted the things that we know. And I do see a lot of people who they come out with these workouts and they're more, I think they're more trying to impress their other fitness friends than they are actually trying to connect with an audience of people who needs assistance. And
another rant.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, again, stick to your niches and Patrick's out, got to run. Thanks. Kasolu, Regan, I follow you on IG. Kristen, I'll follow you on IG and recommend your business to my friend. We were just talking about how she wants a business coach.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if you have questions, like Reagan knows, I'm an open book. So shoot me questions to, we're mostly on Instagram for the most part. So you can find us there really easy with Reframe.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know Patrick was just jumping out, but just making content your own and even like online, how are people in different realms in fitness going to survive? Like the people who support the fitness professionals, like you have to study the industry and say, how can I, monetize this as well? If we are doing more
Mhm.
home workouts and you're a, photographer, videographer in the fitness world, like what can you do
Yeah.
to get in front of those people again to say, hey, I'm setting up a kit or a course on how to do this at home. Yeah. And the recession, I haven't seen too much of it here locally. I'm in Virginia in the US, for everybody, but we've seen it trending where, I think it's just habit. Like we got in the habit of being home for
Mhm.
those years, like, and buying a lot of equipment. God knows my husband supported, I think he funded like the rogue employee party, like this year with all the crap we bought with plates and racks and all the things. So, people are going to be looking for those options still, but habit, like we like easy now. Like I could sit on here and do my work all day. I don't have to go into an office anymore.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind as you're like creating a business, or if you are launching for 2023, how can you make it sustainable? And the only way to ever really stay is to really help predict the market ahead. Same as a normal business, guys. Like you got to look at the flows. Like right now, I mean, the stock market is the worst it's ever been. People are losing money left and right with all their investments. So, how can you make them feel better? Like, what can you do to get them through this? So, when they do get this surge back, they're coming straight to you. And that may be just offering freebies and value and YouTube videos and things that you can get in. So, when they do experience the surge, which will come back, the market, I mean, never fails in that sense. So we're going to see a lot of changes this year, but you just have to be proactive. And sometimes, again, working with a coach, I mean, we hear people say it and it's not, it can be total bullshit most of the time because most of the coaches don't do these things. But if you work with people who've been in the business longer, or at least have a background in other industries, not just, 2 month certificate and what they're doing now, they will be able to tell you, like, listen, we've seen this before. It's going to be okay. Like, you just have to stick it out. Same as investing. Got to stick it out, stick to the plan, keep it simple, know where you're going and what you want the end result to be. Because if it's 5 years from now, then you have time. Like you can plan and not be as stressed about it. So those quick fix offers always stress people out more because they're
Yeah.
like, got to get a solution in 30, 60, 90 days. And if I don't, I'm a failure. No, you're not. You've not failed at all. You've learned so much and you're
Yeah.
going to be so much better off for it. Like, just please don't give up on the consistency part of all of this. But it's work. I mean, it's an actual
Yeah.
job.
And I think that's the thing too. And I mean, we're going to basically rehash all of this in a second, but like when it comes to, it is a second job. Like the best time to be trying to grow a digital brand is when you already have a job. I don't think you should make it like say that you're going to quit your job in 3 months, and so this has got to work. And truthfully, I've had clients who have given me a time frame to which I have to make them successful, and it's like those clients I don't take, because it's like I can tell you right now that with that attitude, you're not going to be successful. I'm sorry. And let me preface that by saying that, people that I work with will attest to the fact that I'm not easy to work with because I tell you things you don't want to hear. And I think that's what makes a good coach, in that sense, is that, sometimes you need to hear certain things that you may not want to. And there's certain things you're doing that are not conducive to making money. But with all that being said, I got very lucky. I started, when I left my last job and decided to open my agency, because I now had my own hours, I was able to allot some extra time for YouTube. So I wasn't monetized. This is 2019. And I basically built up the channel. I just got monetized before COVID. COVID gave a huge assist, but at that time, my channel had been building up for a year. So I was ready for that. Just like somebody who spent 2022 building up, they would have been ready for a recession that's supposedly coming. But this is why we do this. Even if you're not, if it's not your full-time income, it can be a very lucrative second income. It's not passive. That's the problem. There's some aspects of what we do that are passive. A lot of it is just like a second business. But for somebody to put some time into this, just kind of building it on the side, you can one day make that switch into a full-time digital creator, and creating videos. And now suddenly, instead of, working with people that are just in your community, you've got access to the entire planet. And then you've got, instead you're able to sell them products and things that you like, not things that are terrible. Like there's so much opportunity for expansion. And when things like recessions kick in, like over the course of COVID, I was fine. I probably had the best financial years of my life during COVID, which not a lot of people can say that. And I attribute a large amount of that to the time I put in developing online. Now, again, like I said, I got lucky because I didn't know COVID was coming, but I put some time in. I used to drive me crazy that first year on YouTube when my channel, I'm trying to get the 4,000 hours of watch time in a 365-day period. That's what it takes to get monetized. So every day I gain some hours and I lose some hours because it's a 365-day window that just keeps moving. And I'd be within 3 hours, and then I'd have a bad day, and now I'm within 10 hours. And then it teetered right below that for like weeks and weeks and weeks. Finally, I got over the threshold. And then like a year later, it's an actual income, a strong income. And then a second channel comes from that grows into a bigger income. So like put the time in, be patient, make quality things. Like what it really comes down to. And I have a question actually that I wanted to ask you about Instagram before I forget. When I go on, what's that?
You gotta have one. Come on.
When I go on Instagram, and I find this is worse now than ever. Like, do you grow on Instagram, or is Instagram a communications tool for you? Like what I'm getting at is when I log on to Instagram right now, the first 12 things I see, 10 of them are going to be sponsored ads. So like, I just wonder, I'm not as active as you are on Instagram, but do you feel that your audience and an expansion of your audience is seeing your stuff as much as they used to?
So for us, engagement wise has always been the same, but we are extremely consistent. So, I mean, I post the same time pretty much every day for years. Like it's been the same type of setup for us. Mm-hmm. So if you are seeing, there are a couple things because why you're seeing those. If you are seeing nothing but sponsored posts when you log on to Instagram, it means that you are not very active and they want to get people in front of you that are paying them while they can. So you can also on those, if you do start to see a lot of accounts you don't follow, because so they'll do suggested accounts now on Instagram or sponsored posts. If you're seeing a lot of them, make sure you tap the dots, click, I don't want to see this, it's irrelevant, or snooze on followers. You can hit snooze for 30 days. Do that so it cleans your feed up and at least lets them know they don't like this, because you have to communicate with the platform. And if you're not taking charge of how you're communicating with the platform, they will shape the narrative of how they're delivering your information. There is also a little button at the top of Instagram. If you actually go to your actual feed, you can actually see like content from people you follow. So that's kind of a thing that if you don't want to see, a bunch of crap, like you can go and actually the feed like on Facebook. The other way on Instagram that kind of is a catch-22 is how you show up and follow other people is how they will show you to them. So say there's an account that I don't follow. I will go to that account. If I like it, I'll follow it. I'll put a comment. And if it's someone that I know that will follow me back, if they follow me back, then, we'll be friends. They'll show them a ton of times because they want you guys to be excited about meeting, and then it'll slowly die off. Now, to reignite that flame with the accounts that you actually want to see, you have to go be active on theirs for them to see you. So if you have some clients that you're like, I really want to work with this client again, get back on their page, DM in stories, like posts, comment on posts. And for some magical reason, they will all of a sudden start seeing your photos again in their feed. So Instagram wants to play the connection community chess game. So it's like you make a move, then I'll make a move. So keep that in mind when you're on there. The reason you're seeing a lot of the spam is that. Now, the other flip side is bots, because Instagram is the worst place on the planet to have an account because it's all followers, right? All fake, most of them. I have friends that have accounts that they've paid. So I have a person I know who's paid close to $25,000 to grow their account by hiring digital marketing people to just get them followers. You can tell because all their posts have almost the same amount of likes, all have the amount of views. It's very obvious. And you don't want that. So I am also a proponent of not building an audience, like growing it. I'm really paring it down. So I think I told you this last year when I first moved out of news, I had mostly male followers that were, horny old dudes that lived out in the country that just wanted to comment on my feed. Not just being totally honest. And I got a lot of foot picture requests, which is the weirdest thing ever. Totally different podcast thing we could talk about. But, I could make a lot of money if I was on OnlyFans. But there was definitely this surge of these people, and I didn't want them following me because they were drowning out my engagement to the people who I really wanted to see my content. So I delete followers and I block new followers that I can see are spammy right away. So that's a daily practice for me, is removing new followers. So my account has not grown technically, my personal business account for years. Years it's gone down because I keep deleting people because I want the right people to see my shit. I don't care if I have 100,000 people because that doesn't make me any money. And I want money. Like I have a job, I have a house, I have kids. I need to get paid. I'm not going to sit there and just put up sexy photos for your enjoyment to not get anything out of. And quality of content has a lot to do with it too, because Instagram can figure out who you're trying to attract. So if you're just putting up photos that you want 1,700 likes that show your ass, that's all you're going to get for followers. Like you're not going to get women who want you to help them transform. You're not. So it's how you play the game on there. So if you want to stop seeing the spam, it is, kind of filter your audience, who you follow, who you're following, and then what you're liking and commenting on is a huge filter that you can do daily that costs you nothing.
Yeah, like they back me against a wall because it'll be like cute puppy videos or something. It's like, well, I don't want to see none, but I don't want to see like 12 when I log in. So it's like I don't know what to do.
And cat,
but definitely when you show interest in anything, they run with that. But that's what because that's always one of those things that I, in my personal narrative, that I'm always telling people that I enjoy about YouTube is that your content is more of a front runner and I'm less important. So I like the fact from a business standpoint that I put content out there and people like it because they like the content, not because they're supporting me. And then that to me, I get introduced to new people all the time on YouTube. And the only new people I get introduced to on Instagram are people that find me from YouTube. I don't have a lot of people that connect with me on Instagram who just randomly find me and add me. Now I'm a private account too. I don't, so I usually let most people in, but I just don't put everything out there. But yeah, I was wondering because again, I'm not nearly as active as most people are on there. But I found that it's gotten to the point where it's like, if I didn't use this as a communication tool with clients, I don't know if I'd be on Instagram because it's just constantly sponsored ads and stuff. And then maybe I'll see out of every 7 or 8, I'll see one thing of somebody who I'm connected with. And it's like,
do you have your phone there in front of you?
Yep.
Go to your Instagram page.
Okay.
Tap the word Instagram on the top left corner on the feed.
Yep.
Now it says following and favorites.
Yep.
Tap following and you will see only people you follow.
It doesn't, and it's not going to show me any ads?
Nope. You should be. It's just the people you're following.
You should do a YouTube video about that.
I know. It's something like, again, there's a lot of tricks on the platform that people only know about if they really study it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things in there. So if you have a highly engaged group, they want you to actually create group chats and community. Yeah. So there's so many things now. And even in Facebook groups, they just introduced community chat. So if nobody's tried that, I haven't done it yet. So if you have a Facebook group that you nurture clients in or provide content in, you can actually create a topical chat based on a topic and invite everyone in your group. So literally all of your group members are now in a chat, which is more direct to them than a post with comments. So they can actually chat. I try not to do that because I don't want to spam people and get them into chats they don't want to be in. So it has to be purpose, but they're going that community route, like 100%. We want you to feed into each other and see who's liking who and who wants to play together, so to speak, on the playground. And we're going to put you all on, you guys are on the monkey bars, you guys are on the swings. They will classify you into what they're going to show you. So there is still ways to control it. And that can make your online experience so much better. And it'll actually allow you to take some control over your social media stress. Because I hate looking at stupid things, but I will always click on the dumbest video, and then I get like 50 of them in my suggested. There's a lot of cool new tools on there. You can see if you've offended Instagram, if you're showing up in discovery feeds, there's a way to do that. There's so many tricks on there to better your account and your experience. But it's, and there's rules, like you can go to Instagram and Facebook jail. I don't know if YouTube has the same thing, but if you like or comment more than 250 actions a day, they put you into jail. So you can't access your account for up to 72 hours. So there's a lot of rules, which is also why, like, if you're starting out and you don't want to mess up and you don't want to waste time and money, it is better to find people who've done it. Like I've done it, we've invested in people to help us build our business and just help us with things that, I don't want to waste freaking 2 weeks and then not be able to use my account. So there's a lot of benefits, but IG, again, that's a whole nother day we could do on just what to do to make things better for yourself.
I do think even with the community content that you're talking about, that to me is just Instagram's version of niching down.
It is.
They're getting more into smaller group conversations than mass expression to the general public. Which, as I said, like, guys, this is very much where it's going. Is these smaller conversations, niching down with your content, and then growing it from there. So people are probably getting tired. So just one last question. Any new platforms that you guys are using aside from the big 3 or 4, like Discord, anything like that? Have you tried it?
No, I'm not a huge Discord person. I'm not even a huge TikTok or Snapchat person. I do think that because they're such short-lived, it's not for me. And they do show a lot of spammy accounts and stuff I don't want to see personally. So I don't like those platforms. Plus, legally, there may be things, if certain bills pass, that those platforms will become more limited. So putting all your eggs in that basket may hurt you as a business or a creator in the future. So I don't play with those platforms too often. There is a new beauty platform that came out. I believe it's called Flip. That's for beauty content creators. So what industries are doing now, and this may be coming in the fitness industry, I guess I could make this as a prediction. They are creating a community that is very similar to an Instagram or TikTok hybrid, and they are only doing it for a specific niche. So this is an app only for beauty products and makeup. And to get on it, you have to register. And everyone on there is a paid UGC content creator for a company. So all the big cosmetic companies are on there, hair companies, and it's just like TikTok for the most part. It has videos and they show up and you like them and you can shop in them. So they're shopping links, and it's an affiliate-based platform, but it's gained a ton of traction. I've heard about it through 2 major international brands now that we've worked with that are makeup in the fitness industry. So they're on there. So I think there's going to be, again, more that surge of putting a community together of like-minded people. So whatever it is, that's going to be it. But other than that, I really, like Clubhouse, I was on for a little bit, which was a very interesting app. I probably gained the most followers ever being on Clubhouse for my Instagram. So that was an interesting one to toy around with this past year. But I limit my time online. I'm very strategic now in it. So I'm not going to just sit there and post on 80 things or be on them all day unless it provides value, or actually for me provides an ROI. Like I want something back for my time at this point. But those are my new ones that, I've kind of played with at this point.
Totally agree. So wrapping everything up into a ball, guys, my advice, and I think Kristen and I are always on the same page with this stuff, but if you're starting a channel, or if your channel is just kind of dormant and it's not growing the way you want it to grow, I want you to create an entire customer journey from They find your channel to where the money's at. The money is not in Google Ads anymore. We've gone over that. It's not going to be for some time. So you have to look at this from your end result is going to be either membership, one-on-one coaching, products and services, something along those lines, sponsorships, and all of those things have different things that you need to do to amplify your channel to be the most conducive to getting those things. So figure out where your end game is. And for everybody that's different. And maybe all of those things are things that you incorporate, but definitely don't hang your hat on Google income. Don't hang your hat on Amazon affiliate income. And go from there and basically niche down. And if anybody out there wants to argue with me on niching down, my email will be in the description below, and you can message me and be on this show, and we will fight, because I every metric that I read, my own personal analytics say that niching down works. And again, we don't live in an era where views and likes are everything anymore. We talked about this a year ago. Nothing is different. Shares, saves, those are big metrics. Watch time is a big metric. All those things are what you should be looking for in your analytics. And one thing about almost every of the big social media platforms is they give you a lot of analytics now. So you don't have to guess at this stuff. You can see what's working and what's not. Aside from that, Kristen, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, we went over a lot. So, people are always welcome to throw questions in, after this, and comments and DMs. But yeah, it's really finding what works for you online and really getting back to cutting through the bullshit. I mean, I think that's a big thing for all of us, is to say, I am not going to listen to all the noise. I'm going to do what's right for me, my business, and my MVP customer. And that's it. Like, I'm not going to I'm not going to get distracted, and literally writing that plan out, seeing it, visualizing it, and doing it. And again, not being afraid to invest time, and not a ton of money, but maybe a little bit, in what will make that easier for you personally, because it's different for all of us. And systems save lives. So we're big on creating systems that will help you at least, go through everything. So yeah, there's a lot to go over, a lot of changes. It's always evolving, but the only thing that has stayed the same is being your authentic, organic self, and creating a community are still going to stick for all of 2023. So if you focus on who you serve and why, I think that will help alleviate a lot of your stress.
Yep. Treat it as a business. If you make that, if nothing else today, you make that one conscious decision to treat your social media like a business and not like your own personal ranting and raving tool, that'll be the biggest thing that you do this year. Treat it like a business. Decide what, if anything, you're going to invest in it. If you're not going to invest a dime in it, that's okay. But your return will be more. It's not to say you won't have a return, but there are limitations. Like any other business. If I have more inventory, I have more sales. If I have, if I'm in a better location, I get more traffic. Like all those things matter. Treat it like a business. Work within your own parameters. Be patient. Don't worry about Google Ads. Content first, you're second. Those are the biggest takeaways that I think I can give you guys today. If you guys want to get in touch with Kristen, as we talked, all of her contact info will be in the description. I'm going to add it this afternoon. But Reframe Your Brand on Instagram. The website's also Reframe Your Brand, right?
All Reframe Your Brand. It's pretty easy.
Kristen does coaching. They do retreats every year. They're in different parts of the US. They do some that last year, I think it was Mexico. This year it's Dominican. They're up in Canada this year. She's always doing stuff, lots of good content. As I said earlier, I don't endorse too many people. I do endorse Kristen.
Thank you.
No problem. So that's all I got right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this. Please do give it a like if you haven't already, because it does help us a lot. And Annalene, you're still here. Wow. This is the first time you stuck around for a whole live in a while. Glad to have you.
We talked a lot.
Glad to have you. Yeah. There she is. But you're very welcome. I appreciate you guys being out here. We will be doing more of these lives. We'll try and get Kristen on more than once a year. She's very busy. Maybe we'll do a in-person live when you're up here in Toronto.
Oh, we can do Toronto live. Hey. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Come on.
All right, guys, have a great day. Have a great week. And we will talk to you all very, very soon.
Bye, guys.
See ya.